Okay, common question from Scrum Masters in our classes are regarding organizational change. They want to know how to be able to support it. How can they do this from the inside? And I think it's valid. They're Scrum Masters, what their accountability is to the team and to the organization. So what does support look like? Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, I've got a couple of thoughts on this. I was just in a class yesterday and giving a common scenario that I see sometimes where it's like there's some pushback to organizational change, and you want to be a support, you want to help drive the change that you want to see. And a common question that I'll see is, people saying, well, why do we have to really have the daily scrum every single day? Right? And a really bad way to answer that question, a really ineffective way at driving change, in my opinion, is saying, well, because the Scrum Guide says so. And move on, right? I sometimes joke, right? Nobody cares about what the Scrum Guide says. Like, I care, we trainers care, and people that are trying to implement Scrum should care. But if you're trying to win over hearts and minds and trying to drive change, appealing to this document that someone may or may never have heard of before isn't a great way. So that's a sort of a narrative way to answer this and say, connect it back to the why. If you can't give the reason and the implications and the ripple effects and where you're trying to go and how this change that you're asking people to make is going to propel them forward towards a vision in the future, you're probably not going to be very effective at driving change. So understand where you're trying to go with this organizational change and don't just give the rote answers because the book says so. That would be my sort of first piece of advice. I don't know. What about you, Rob?
Yeah. In terms of books, this is a subject I love to rant on, and I've written about it and whatever. Don't go it alone. There are change management frameworks that can help. So definitely start with why, but then what? My favorite one lately has been this framework called ADKAR, ADKAR. It's an acronym. If you look up the ProSci Institute, PROSCII Institute, they have a whole thing on there. They got their own classes. I'm not suggesting you necessarily take them unless you really are into it, but they give you enough to definitely understand what their model is all about or their framework is all about right on their website, and then there's some white papers I'll let you download. But basically they're talking about awareness. If people aren't aware of why they need to make a change and what the benefits could be, they're not going to make that change. And if they don't desire it, which is the D in ADKAR, they don't desire that change, even if they're aware of the benefits, they're not going to make a change. If they don't have the K, the knowledge on how to make that change, which is what we all do as Scrum trainers is give knowledge. If they don't have the knowledge on how to make that change at the right performance level, change won't happen. And the last two letters, you've got A as another A is ability to use it. If you go back to work and you have no ability to use Scrum, you just wasted 2 days in a class with us. And if your company doesn't reinforce the behaviors culturally, use it or lose it. And these things just fall by the wayside, and we're back to waterfall in 6 months. So don't go it alone. There are frameworks, and there are others.
These are good answers. I'm going to take a very specific Scrum Master approach to this one, though. And I'm thinking a Scrum Master who's very involved with the team that is still growing and trying to figure things out is going to have a really difficult time supporting the organization at this level. Their time's going to be consumed with helping the team get on their feet, understand what self-management is about. We actually will teach this in the leadership course where as managers and leaders, they need to help support the Scrum Master in the team so they are able to become better self-managing entities, which can create value consistently every single sprint. That is a benchmark in which a Scrum Master can say, now that we're there, I can now start to help the organization at a greater rate because I'm freed up. I'm not so focused on the team. They're self-managing. What does the organization need from me in terms of either coaching, training, mentoring, facilitating? And so we see that evolution of the Scrum Master's responsibility based upon the evolution of the maturity of the team. So part of this is the right people with the why is a good combination. Self-management is going to be the key that unlocks your ability to help the organization as a whole.
If you like this video, just leave us a comment. And if you got some positive feedback, we'd love to hear it. And if you've got some negative feedback, well, we'd love to hear that too.
And be sure to check out our description. We have our email list there and our upcoming classes so you can upgrade your knowledge and work on a certification.